Hello, everybody, and welcome to Psycho's Platters, the latest episode, episode 78. I'm going to call this Goodwill Goodies because literally everything I have in my small to medium sized stack all came from two Goodwills. Um, you know, I don't know about your area for record digging, which, by the way, you know, the things you guys come up with are fantastic. I mean, a lot of you I've watched in your videos have gone off and said, hey, guess what? I found this at Goodwill's. I found these at Salvation Armies. I found these at, I think there's some places that have St. Vincent de Paul thrift shops. We have a St. Vincent de Paul, but we don't have a thrift store, which is kind of odd. And then there's other charity shops. And you guys come up with fantastic finds. I mean, it just goes to show you that there still is stuff out there in the wild, and it's beautiful. You're all beautiful people. So let's see here. Let's get this started off. Oh, one last thing really quick. I want to thank you guys. I did get a couple more subscribers over the last broadcast or two. Always well appreciative. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know exactly your names, but I know you're there because it comes up on my alerts through my Yahoo. So I'm very blessed, and thank you very much for joining. I am up to 98 kids. I'm 2 away from 100. I'll maybe come up with a contest or a thread or something when I get to 100. Okay, that'd be really, really nice for Psycho's Platters. All right, off to start off here. One of the coolest bands out of the Detroit area, Brownsville Station School Punks. Yeah, I know. A lot of you people are like, Brownsville Station. They're the guys that do. Here we go with the bad imitation. Smoking in the boys' room. Anywho, they do that one. That's not on this one. This is actually from 1976 on Big Tree Records. Kings of the Party was supposed to be the big hit off of this. That's your label for Big Tree from '76. On a quick little note, I don't know if a lot of you people remember that Cub Coda, who's the main member of this group, and Brownsville Station got back together, by the way. The other two members have resurrected the name, but Cub Coda, he's been passed away for quite a while now. He used to be contributing editor, well, excuse me, not an editor. He had a column in Goldmine magazine. I remembered back in the 80s and I think early 90s. Needless to say, when I was a young upstart and probably didn't, have my oats all sowed, I know that was strange, I actually contacted Cub Coda by mail to do an interview with him. I thought it would be really nice. He was a really nice man, I'll tell you that, in regards to the acceptance of that. And he's like, yeah, sure. But by the time I was able to send up the interviews, he passed. So I didn't get to talk to him other than that letter. So, all right. You know what? I like Bob Wills. Do you like Bob Wills? I like Texas swing. I do. This one here on Liberty Records from I think 1962, 63. Bob Wills, Tommy Duncan, and the Texas Playboys. This is kind of neat, I gotta tell you. It says here, the next time Bob Wills with Tommy Duncan and the Texas Playboys play a dance in your vicinity, get a fun-loving crowd together and go. And you know what? This album's neat. It proves it. Bob Wills has been gone since 1975, unfortunately. But if you're into country music or any of that era, he was part of it, no doubt about it. Now, I have to confess, I normally don't go for reissues of things, okay? But I kind of had to in this exception. Boz Scaggs. Now, yes, this album originally came out in 1969 on Atlantic, but in 1979, according to the back here, it was remixed. Why did Paul get the Boz Scaggs album that was originally from 1969? A lot of class players, but I'll tell you the main reason. I don't know if you're going to see it in the gatefold. This nearly naked man actually is naked. Duane Allman. He ended up doing session work for Boz back in '69. Also on this album, your typical Muscle Shoals people, your rhythm section, you've got David Hood and Jimmy Johnson, Barry Beckett, all of those people, of course, being in the Muscle Shoals. Roger Hawkins, and Eddie Hinton, who's also late in grade two. All of these people ended up on this album. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else really quick here that's not shown in the gatefold. Not off the top of here, but like I said, it actually says it was remixed in October of '77. I love Dwayne Allman. Skydog was one of the best damn Southern rock guitarists, period, okay? I'd love to find an original pressing of this. Maybe someday I will. But until then, for a buck, I couldn't pass that up. It's beautiful. Here was the mystery album of the day. It's Spanish, okay? It says Los Fabulosos Four Cuartos. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but someone, or was it an article I read a long time ago, told me that anything on Demon is supposed to be interesting. I have not listened to this yet. This actually came in this loose leaf plastic, but I know the cover is not great. I see it's taped. The only hint I can even get, because I'm not kidding you, it's all in Spanish, is that I could see that it was made in 1965. That's the only hint. So I cannot wait to hear this. But they say the releases on Demon are supposed to be really interesting. And I mean, you have a mix. I know you can't see it because of the hue on here, but I mean, it just looks kind of interesting. They all are young, and you have some acoustic guitars and some drums in there. All right. Are you a Claw 2 fan? No, it's Spock. But yeah, are you a Claw 2 fan? I'm a Claw 2 fan, okay? I like Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft. I like Sub Rosa Subway. I like all that stuff, okay? I've got the first two albums, but here's one I've actually been looking for on and off for at least 20 years. Finally, I got Claw 2's Sir Army Suit on Capitol Records from '78. This was the last album that the band made in the United States. Beautiful picture label, Stone Mint. What happened with them was that, as my past story goes, Claw 2 was originally by Capitol Records touted as, could this be the Beatles? I don't know if, I remember that campaign barely in 1976. And when I heard some of it, I'm like, okay. I mean, the closest Beatle influenced was Sub Rosa Speedway. It does kind of almost sound like a Wings outtake. I'm not going to lie. But if you listen to Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft, the only part that comes out being a little Beatley is the vocoder part where the guy tries to sound like Lennon. You know how Lennon always had liked having his voice distorted. That was the closest thing. But so Sir Army Suit was the third album that came out from Claw 2. Hope was the second. They pretty much were dropped after this album, but in 1981 they cut an album in Canada called Magenta Lane. I'm actually looking for that one. It originally was supposed to be a solo album, but I can't remember from what member. But needless to say, they end up reforming and making this last album, and then they went poof. All right. I have not found a very, very good, clean copy of this. Insight Out from the Associations featuring Wendy. I really am hoping we get them here this summer. It'd be really, really nice. On Your Gold, Warner Brothers. Really, really nice shape on that one. Let's see, what else here? How about Quicksilver Messenger Service Solid Silver from 1975? They reunited on Capitol Records. It's an orange Capitol on this. It is pretty much everybody from the lineup, especially with the Townsend John Ceppolina and David Freeberg, who of course was in and out of Starship, Jefferson Starship, excuse me, not Starship, because that's a completely different thing in itself. Another nice copy of 10 Years After, A Space in Time. You gotta love 10 Years After. If you don't know who these guys are, please go check them out. This is on Columbia Records, of course. Another one that I've been looking forward to, Budgie. I actually, man, oh man, what a power trio. What a power trio out of England. This one here is actually, I cannot, forgive me about this. I'm not entirely sure. I gotta The cover's slightly a little bit, but it's on Cap. That was their original label in the States. So this is pretty cool. First album and all. There's the front. That's the back. Okay. I always like that budgie. He's funny. And then, of course, it says produced by Roger Bain, who, of course, would end up working with Black Sabbath and others as well in that kind of stuff. So, but very neat on this. I want to say Budgie's still going. It's down to like one or two members of that band. Here's another one for you, okay? Now, I don't know about you. If you collect this artist, chime in on this as well. But Duane Eddy Records, all right? I have found a bunch in the wild over the years. The ones on Jamie, okay, his original label, always trash to holy hell. I never see them. Albums we're talking, okay? I never see them in great shape. It looks like an elephant stomped on them. 45s, I maybe have better luck. I have some Jamie EPs even that are halfway decent condition. Even the RCA stuff is, I happen to have a still sealed copy on Reprise from 1966, one of his albums. and I found that on a curb in Walworth, Wisconsin. There was a box of albums that were getting ready to be dumped to the trash man. And it like 30 seconds later after I grabbed it, and a Dean Martin one that was sealed at the time, it started to rain. But I found a beautiful copy of Duane Eddy twanging the golden hits on RCA Victor. The only thing that's wrong with it, of course, is somebody decided to be real cute and write Mrs. Choi Rowland. I guess she got this. It says 2 for 99 cents, but it's beautiful, beautiful condition. My first very clean Duane Eddy. All right, these last two kind of odd. On Storyville, Doug Fields filled me in on this. That Storyville was basically a big label in the 50s and 60s. I'm obviously assuming that these are reissues. Okay, like I know it says here on the back, I'll show you, it says George Lewis and his Ragtime Band. It says on the back 1960 Storyville Records, but the labels are obviously modern. This is, I don't know maybe when they did reissue programs, but I mean it's just a cool cover. I couldn't pass this up. I'm not normally into Dixieland, but I'm gonna try it. And then this one here was kind of odd. From Michael Smith. Reflection on Progress. That's what the album's called. On Storyville, here's the front, here's the back. The back information goes off and tells me here that it was recorded in August of 1972 in Copenhagen. It just looks kind of strange. I can't wait to listen to this. And I mean, they do mention little bits of influence. It does say it's a jazz album, and this one says 1972 on the release of this. But this may or may not be original. I don't know. Maybe Doug can help me on this. Maybe this is also a reissue as well. But I could see this label being a 72 release as opposed to that other one from 60. That's not one I could tell. All right, guys. Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark. He's got a Pink Floyd show coming up. I'm airing this today on Sunday, the 16th. So go listen to that. Night Owl Lounge with Mike Adams, Thrifty Music Collectors Group, with Tim Smith and Company. Go subscribe to that stuff. YouTube Vinyl Community, Shindig Magazine and Vintage Rock Magazine out of England. Okay, please subscribe to this site. I will not disappoint. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your frenemies. This is all fantastic, kids. Take care. God bless. See you next time.